We are here with John Roderick, who is well known for so much music, politics around here in the Northwest, Western State Hurricanes, Long Winters. So I got introduced to you from Western State Hurricanes, and I think you guys had a cassette that I got from you or Stephanie maybe, and was like, I love this. So I remember, because I was in Goodness at the time going, yeah, we need to, I was the big bossy who's opening for us kind of person. And so I was like, oh yeah, these guys got to open. These guys got to play with us. Just because it's a great, it's one of the things that makes it fun to play music. If you have the power enough to say, no, I'll let you know who's opening. Then you'd be like, I like these. This is what's happening for me. All right. Like,
you were such a big supporter of us. It really helped us a lot.
That's great. Yeah. No, I really liked you guys. I love everything that you do, really.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean that. And, you got to get your yah-yahs off in music because there's so much other bullshit going on that you get sort of like, oh, I get to do this. So that's nice. But I was really excited to talk to you. One, just because I like you so much. I liked being on your podcast at the Rendezvous. Mm-hmm. That was really fun. And we were just talking earlier about like what this podcast is all about. And it's really just a conversation. And I get interested in people wanting to have like a communal conversation on could be anything, but a lot of it's like music. And recently I'm 52 and trying to recreate my relationship to music.
After a long period where you were in mom mode.
Was in mom mode, still in mom mode, and realizing it was slow for me to understand. Like I said to somebody today, I wish I had consciously realized when I had my son, I wanted to have my son. Like I wanted to be a mom, but I didn't know how to consciously say to myself, it's okay to take a break and not give a shit about music. Go be a mom. So I kind of had this sort of split torture of like, oh, how do I do it all? When I just didn't kind of want to and couldn't, I was tired.
Yeah.
But he's now 10 going on 11. And what I'm trying to cultivate is my relationship to music. Because for me, when I started music, it happened fast. It happened luckily. I didn't have to do much, it felt like, other than practice all the time and tour, all the regular work. So consequently, I never established like a pattern of stopping and going, hey, Kara, how's this working for you?
Right.
So there's kind of a little hollow hole in me. This is, and I don't want to live by this story, but a little bit of a disconnect for me between what music means to me privately, alone, when nothing else is there, right? Like when everything else falls away, do I know my why I would do it? And sometimes I do want to participate in music. Sometimes I just don't care. I'm just in, and there are other things besides music going on in the world. But I want to love it again. And so I'm starting to realize the things and look at and really take knowledge of like, well, what are the parts you like? Like, I love recording. I like collaborating. I like compulsive, intuitive creating. I don't think shit to death. I don't like to. I love to gather players. Like, I'm a you, and you. Here's a thing. Do something with it. I love that. And I'm so not a control person. Other than I will throw down the like, no, I don't like that. But not often,
There has to be somebody that says, no, I don't like that.
Yeah. And it's taken me a long time to get very comfortable with like, I will tell you no. Yeah. Like, if it's a wah-wah pedal and I don't want it, I'll say no.
That's important, yeah.
That's a key figure, right? I mean, when Bill Berry left REM, everybody said, oh, his distinctive drumming is going to go. But I think Bill Berry was the one that said, I don't think that's good.
Oh. Because
the day Bill Berry left, some aspect of their editing process went away. Because everything by REM post Bill Berry feels just slightly less edited.
Oh.
And it might be a thing that happened in their fame arc, too, where they just were like, they went past a certain fame arc and they were like, everything we do is great. But I think Bill Berry, I don't know enough about their inner workings.
Yeah.
But I bet he was the guy that when they came up with something, they all kind of looked over at him and he either went, yeah, or he went,
Really?
That's just my speculation.
Yeah, if it changed enough, it makes sense.
They changed enough as soon as he left the band.
Interesting.
And it just felt like they didn't have that person that used to say, no.
Yeah.
Just like when Paul McCartney lost John Lennon, all his mid-70s music
Yeah.
felt like it just needed one.
Oh,
it
yeah.
needed a person that was like, that's not quite good enough, Paul.
Right.
Go back over those lyrics one
More time.
Yeah, he needed that.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, I'm not reined in at all on that. I guess, like, if anything, I probably should. No, I don't know about that. I like the capturing of time because I'd rather get to the doing than examining over and over. And the emotional aspect to me is more important, or whatever, at least for my solo stuff. That's more, like, I will examine, like, the quality of vocal performance. Like, I can tell when I'm like, yeah, you kind of didn't give a shit. When you, like, you can sing well, but there's
Yeah, it's
less,
not
you're less
there.
present. You're just not, something. I'll know the difference. Like when Goodness did Anthem, we had to record that twice. And so the first record was the first effort, right? Lots of energy. Everyone's like, wow, did it with John Goodmanson.
Right.
And then they're like, nope, not good enough. Do the whole thing over again
Whoa.
with Ted Nicely. Nice enough guy. But I can tell.
John is really good about capturing raw energy.
Oh, and wants to, like, we'll say. Ted Nicely did a great job, but he's tidy. It's all very tidy.
Yeah.
And I can hear, even though I think those vocals are like, there's nothing not big about them, I can tell. Like, I listen,
sure.
I go, oh yeah, you were burnt, so tired.
Yeah, you weren't giving it that, like, 110.
There's no scream. There's no, like, edge. There's no, I don't know, a little bit of breath or spit or, I don't know, on it, where I'm like, oh yeah,
One of the great things that I had at my disposal as a vocalist was Sean Nelson
Oh yeah.
of Harvey Danger would come into the studio with me and just sit there and read a magazine when I was doing vocal takes.
Really?
Because engineers typically don't fucking understand vocals. They just don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
They understand whether it's in pitch. They understand that you did it through.
Yeah.
And the ones that like to comp stuff will comp for pitch and for performance. But this thing that you're talking about,
Yeah.
you kind of need either a producer that really thinks about vocals or another vocalist. And Sean would sit in there and he would listen to me do takes, and I would do 3 and I'd look in at him and he would just sort of be looking at his magazine. And I'd say, what do you think? And he'd look up and he'd say, I feel like you're... and he'd make a comment that only another vocalist would really understand.
Yeah, yeah.
You're singing from a place of, like you're in whatever this verse, you're in the meaning of it, but you're not in the spirit of it.
Yes.
Or you're, like try and sing from the end of your nose or whatever. And then he'd go back to looking at his magazine, but it would always be really useful for me to get into the performance wherever I needed to be.
Well, and you trusted him.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Like I know for me, it takes me 3 tries before I'm in my body.
Yeah.
And then in my body enough to hear like the character, not that I'm trying to be fakey, but like in the voice that I want to portray for a song.
Right.
And John was the first one on that first Goodness record for me to go, let's not sing. Like, let's talk sing. Let's sing less, Because the Hammerbox stuff was so like growly and and he's like, and it was all effort. And we specifically were like, let's do less singing. And it was kind of hard for me to do, like, just talk sing it, like Smoking's that way. A couple of them where he was like, try less.
Hammerbox, there was no try less.
No.
You guys peeled the paint off the walls every time.
It was literally, I feel like my stance is,
Yeah, right.
full like out. Full body, like,
Well, because Harris is so inner.
Yes.
He's so internal.
Yeah.
And his performances are like, they're extremely intense, but that intensity is really like lighting in a bottle. Whereas you were just lighting in the room.
Well, a voice is like a beacon, It's just, that was my thought on it. Like as a singer, it's like, and as a person, I'm also very like, whether I knew it or not, was very like, voice is healing. Like I'm on the front of a ship like a light, and this is my way of being a light, even though there's a lot of growling and all of that too, but that was kind of just more angry time, music time. And like when we did the show at the Tractor recently, that the retrospective, when we had the set, we were doing it chronological. But when we got into practice and started practicing the Hammerbox stuff, I was like, oh no, there's no way I'm going to cold start my voice on Hole or any of those, because will just kill me. And so that's where we moved it, because I was like, I need to warm up. I need to like Jiminy Christmas. Like, I just don't growl. I mean, Hammerbox was the only time I ever got nodes and lost my voice on tour. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day, somebody in the music community. We were talking about Hammerbox, and I'd never thought about it like this before, but we kind of came to the realization all of a sudden, like, oh, Hammerbox was 2.5 years too early for, like, if you had come in 95, there was a universe that existed that you could have been like the flag bearers of.
Right.
And this person was like, the only thing that was, she came into this world of 10,000 maniacs, and you guys could have gone that direction, but you were just too angry.
Oh, yeah.
And so there wasn't you didn't have peers. There wasn't a world that Hammerbox fit into, and it didn't fit into grunge. It didn't fit into whatever because it was such a like boy energy here, not even dude energy. It was just boy energy.
Yeah.
But for 4 years later, there was a universe of like angry girls that you would have been the ultimate sort of like leader of the pack.
Well, it's funny. There was like when Riot Girl and everything came out, I was like, well, I don't fit there. Like, I'm a singer. Like, it might have been angry.
But that's the thing, right? Everybody that came after you was just, bah! Whereas you had all that vocal power. Which
made me made me feel odd. I felt like I was odd. Not likable. You know what I mean?
Retroactively.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm, and there was times when I felt like embarrassed, like, oh, I'm a singer, like I'm a singer.
That was the problem of the Northwest. We all got addicted to the idea that you couldn't have talent because like inauthenticated you. Yeah. So you needed to get out there and just like be the worst. Yeah. And that was somehow genius. It
was ridiculous. But you know what I loved about Hammerbox? None of us were like that.
No.
Not at all. I mean, we pointedly were like, we either are good or we do nothing. Right. Like we were very intentional. I mean, at least be good at what you're doing. You can't tell if somebody's going to like it, but we were competitive without saying so. Like, but we kind of enjoyed that. Like, I enjoy that. I'm competitive in the way that it's fun to get stuff, but I would never hurt anybody over it. Right. I'm not a cheat, But I love the like, all right, you've got 500 people, I got 500 people. Let's make 1,000 people. Let's poignantly pick out people and collaborate and build something, not just be like, I don't know, I'm in a band drinking beer. It's like, I want to fucking get something. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's fun. And all those guys were like that. Harris booked like our first tours. Like it was a good combo of people.
On a payphone with a little with a notebook.
I have the notebooks with the addresses written in there where I was like, how did people, here's what baffles me about today. And I know having the internet access makes people complacent. They sit at home, or the weird, like, watching a show through your phone and all that stuff. But I just think about the thousands of people who came to shows just by word of mouth or a paper ad or a mailer, right? Like equal thousands of people could come to a show. And now you can't even, with all the mechanisms that we have, that it's harder to get people to come to a show. Like, what the hell is that?
The fact that it worked at all before was
like, you got it
impressive.
too easy. Yeah. It's too accessible now. Like, you need to get off your ass.
Well, there's just too much to look at now. Yeah, Back then you went to a show because you were driven to do something, right?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah. But I mean, how are you feeling about music? Like, as a writer, like, do you write all the time? I don't write all the time. I like writing. I'd actually like to get better on follow through. Like, I get a lot of ideas and will record them. But I will then kind of stop. Like, I got a bunch of verses and
right. And the choruses don't
melody lines. And I'm like, why don't you finish that thought?
Hard to get them, I know. When I first started writing songs, I was not very good at it, and I knew that I wasn't. It was very inhibiting, right? I tried to be smart and good and clever, inventive, and I just could feel that I was forcing a kind of voice that wasn't mine. I worked really hard to get my writing voice and my speaking voice to be the same.
Oh, wow.
Because my writing voice was a put on, but my speaking voice was really who I was, right? And so I just needed to connect those two. It took me several years.
Yeah.
And the best songs I wrote during a period where like frustration was one of my main emotions. Mm-hmm. I just didn't understand the world, why I wasn't thriving in it, mm-hmm. why I couldn't kind of make it with other people mm-hmm. In a way that I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Everywhere I went, I felt like that I was outside, mm-hmm. and that was super frustrating. And so all of that went into my songs. And when I got into my 40s, I started to feel much more just a member of the community.
Right.
I started to get things, instead of saying like, why does she treat me this way?
Right.
I was like, I understand why she treats me that way. Pretty much.
I got it.
Yeah. Seems like a pretty reasonable way, actually, given all the things. And as that confusion drained out of me and was replaced with a kind of like sanguine not complete understanding, but partial understanding of why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
I ran out of that energy, that dynamic songwriting impulse, which was coming out of a place. Because I can't write really narrative stuff. Like, mm-hmm. I can't write political music. I'm super bad at it.
Yeah.
If I'm like, yeah, there should be things, there should be different. Like, I'm just not me. All my stuff is like emotional music.
Yeah.
But I don't write narratively. So like when my dad got sick and I tried to write a song about it, it just collapsed. And it kind of collapsed me because I failed to do this thing that my art, I thought, should have allowed me to do. Mm-hmm. Commemorate my dad or think about his dying.
Sure.
But everything, when I tried to do it, it was just like, miss my dad, or it just sounded like country music. And so now I'm trying to reconnect to music, but I'm trying to reconnect to what I am here to write about.
Right.
And I'm not like you. I don't just get in and let it, I don't thrive in a spontaneous, impulsive writing mm-hmm. voice. I'm very meticulous and very self-judging and very self-editing, mm-hmm. Which is hard, right? Because you make something and you're like, this is good. And then that editing voice is like, not good. It's not really good. Mm-hmm. And unless you're like angry enough to push past that voice, it can be really inhibiting.
Right.
So I'm rediscovering I'm trying to rediscover what I have to write about. I don't just want to make music that's like, squeeze my lemon.
Right.
I don't want to make music that is banal, right? Yeah. Where I'm just like, topic,
right?
Chorus loosely associated with topic. I want it to have passion.
Yeah.
And it's as a 50, I just turned 50, and I have a daughter that's almost 8, mm-hmm. and it's like passion.
Yeah.
Where am I finding passion?
Oh, God, tell me. Yeah. Yes.
That isn't just like, I love my kid.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, I'm not a good enough songwriter to be like, isn't she lovely?
Right.
Like, that's
I love it. Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But we're talking about like a super, super gifted songwriter. And I'm sort of not quite at the isn't she lovely level.
Do you ever think, because I don't write intellectually at all, which makes me sound like I just said I'm an idiot, but I write very emotionally. Mm-hmm. Like I am almost unconscious. I don't even, and I believe in that, like an intuitive, super like, it's all driven by emotion. And so I will literally be like, and I like rhythm. Like I've always said, like, get me a drummer and I can write for days. That triggers me. That helps me. Like I'm like, oh yeah, because I like rhythm. But it's not complicated. It's not complex. Obviously, my thought. Good rhythm, trigger. Emotion. That is how I've always written. Like when Hammerbox, I didn't write music. I listened to them emotionally, just what is it? What comes out of me? What's that make come out of me? Like that was literally the muscle, emotionally. And then I didn't get in the way of the words, because I do think that's kind of mystical. Like that for me, at least, things will come out, and and it's about me getting out of the way. And it's super emotional based.
But you are a vocalist, right? So you can turn that into, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. And the room goes, yes, right? Everybody feels it. Whereas in that same number of bars in one of my songs, I would have 14 stanzas, right? I would have said,
oh, really? Yeah.
So I would have had so many words in there.
Yeah.
There's not a single really Long Winter song where I just go, yeah, 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 yeah. Like you just let my voice just make noise, just sound, make my body make sound.
Yeah.
And it sounds great. I mean, when you do it, there's meaning in it, right? The audience feels meaning.
I'm honestly connected. I mean, that is like it's a very honest thing. Like if it sounded like shit, I wouldn't do it. But emotion is the language, and the words come out. But it is true. Driven by I'm connected to that,
and I'm much more about words. And I've done, like I say, it feels great to just go, like, let my diaphragm do the talking. But I don't. But I would be too inhibited to do that on stage, because I connected that early on to, because I'm like, I guess you would say the first generation of indie rock. Which was a result of feeling excluded from the last generation of stadium rock. Yeah. When I got to town and all those guys were like leather pantsing it around. And because I worked at the Off-Ramp in 1991, right?
Okay, yeah.
And saw the Bad Motorfinger CD release parties and recognized I am not Chris Cornell. I can never be Chris Cornell.
It's a high bar, though.
Yeah, it's super high bar, but
it's
when
a
you're
thing too.
When you're 20, right, you're just like, well, if that's not me, then what am I?
Right.
That's what I would like to be. Right.
Would you though?
Chris Cornell in 1991?
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
I don't know. I mean, it was better than what I was doing in 1991. Which
Why was it better though?
Because I was sleeping under the bar at the Comet, and people were like pouring their cigarette butts on my head because I was a loser.
Well, that is not cool.
Super loser.
But like, I would never want to be Chris Cornell. Rest his soul, whatever.
No. I mean, I would want to be my version of Chris Cornell, which was maybe a little pudgier.
But like, was it the power of his voice? Was it the adulation? Was it did you really like his singing or that style?
I did like his singing, although I thought he was a little flat in those days. But no,
I didn't like his singing. I was
it was his confidence, which I didn't have.
Oh, okay,
I could not have stood, or you, right? I mean, I remember at the Off-Ramp, you guys played one time, and I was the assistant manager. And the manager came over to me and said, right about when you were about to go on, and said, we're about 200 people over capacity, but don't say anything. And those were the Wild West days in Seattle, right? Like you could be 200 over capacity.
Yeah.
And then you guys played, and it was one of the greatest shows I ever saw. And as the audience was filing out, and everybody was just mashed, and somebody else walked past me and was like, said something to the effect of like, well, you can't top that. About the show. And it was true. Like at that moment in Seattle at that time, that was the band, right? And that was the show.
Yeah.
I didn't have the confidence to stand up there in front at the time and believe in what I was doing enough to have fronted a band like that. I was too self-critical. I would have gotten up there and been kind of in that indie rock style, like, sorry. Hi, hi
apologize,
Sorry that I have to inflict my music on you right now.
I mean, you were on Barsuk, right? So
yeah, right. Barsuk, the ultimate I'm sorry label. It was later when I was like in the Western State Hurricanes, but I was 29.
Okay.
And at that point I realized, if you just pretend to not give a fuck, then no one has any power over you. And eventually maybe it will turn into that you don't give a fuck. And which did happen to me.
Yeah.
Right? I got up and I was like, well, I'm pretending that I don't care until I
Fake it till you make it.
And I did, and it worked.
Totally.
And I was like, holy shit, I don't care anymore. Wow. That's a lot of, but I didn't have that at 21.
I hear you.
And so watching Chris Cornell and just watching him, I mean, I remember at the show at the Crocodile, and I wrote about this in the obituary I wrote for him in The Stranger.
Oh, nice.
Like beautiful girl in a baby doll dress with combat boots ran up on stage and kissed him in between songs during that CD release party. And, he gently escorted her off the stage. And then he said into the mic, if I was a female singer and that was a dude, that wouldn't have been okay at all. And
Did he?
FYI, this is my work environment. And that's, bear in mind that it's intrusive even with the
Wow.
switch.
Yeah.
This is 1991.
I didn't know that, though. That's
Very
interesting.
woke of him for that time
It was,
period.
and I was like, huh. But also, if that girl had kissed me under any circumstances, I would have been like so grateful. So for him to have so much power, to be like,
yes,
I would prefer that you not like shower me with love right now because I'm doing my job.
Right.
I was like, whoa, that's a
I see what you mean.
Right.
I totally see what you mean. It's funny because in Hammerbox, I had tons of anxiety. I mean, you could have, any show, you would have seen me in the back going, I would much rather be at home taking a bath and reading comics. Like, I don't want to be here. I would just have a lot of nervousness. But once I got on stage, I guess my mindset was like, well, you can't get off.
Right.
So you better look forward.
You're done now.
And it's forward or nothing. And a lot of kind of fake it. But also singing for me, once I'm singing, I'm like I'm more comfortable.
Sure.
And I can do that, or, there's circumstances where you don't, when there's like two people in the room and you're like, well, this feels weird. Like, but once I got in there, and those shows were so crammed that you just felt kind of cozy, and that helped too. Like being surrounded by a loud band, tons of people. I didn't feel alone or naked up top. I was like, oh, we're all in this together. I'm just the loudest one here with the mic. Like, But I also, when you talk about Chris Cornell and handling the stage stuff too, my sister asked me one time, she's like, I don't understand how you have the patience to like talk to everybody. And I'm like, it might have been our mother, but it was like, I'm very Princess Grace about it. I'm very like, this is the people who've come and paid money and say hello. I mean, I wouldn't let people harm me or be weird too long, but I'm very, yes, thank you. Or people get up on stage or run up, or people like to hug me a lot. Like, so I would just be like, all right, we're hugging. You better get off, but you're hugging. Okay.
You can hug me for one,
I
two,
get it.
and
you need to go now.
Right.
Get off of me. Because, I was just like, okay, you're excited. Maybe I was always a mom. Like, that's nice. That's okay. Okay, honey. Get off of me
music
now.
was so religious at that point. I mean, it
Yeah.
was all any of us had, right?
Which is really lovely, though, to love something so much. Like, I'm always, when people say they love certain things like movies or books or gaming or whatever, and they feel kind of embarrassed about it, I'm like, no, that's awesome. You love something a lot. Like, that's a good feeling.
People
That's
shouldn't
not
be ashamed of
dorky.
their
That's
passion, for sure. It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter what it is, some stupid video game like saying or whatever. It's like if that brings you joy, that's awesome.
yeah, and you have something
Yeah.
that you're into. I just have appreciation for that.
Yeah, it's different than being a fan in the sense of like being a fan of Marvel Comics or being a fan of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Because we would go to those things and you go to a Jesus Lizard concert, and if he spit on you or cut you with a knife,
I know.
you'd be like, thank you. Thank you for giving me a permanent scar.
Exactly. Well, it's a little nuts, isn't it? Adulation like that, or idolization. I can't say that.
I'm saying
word.
like when I saw you,
Thank you. Yeah.
like when I saw you, it was a color box show. I think it was at the color box.
Oh,
It was
really?
Somewhere. Yeah, it was like down in Pioneer
tunnel?
Square.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I was intimidated by you up on the stage. I was like, she seems really awesome.
She might
and
kick
scary.
me.
Well, I used to,
No.
full confession, I used to go to Parnassus and get a coffee and sit in the back of the room so that you wouldn't notice me staring at you.
Really?
And it was,
Oh, that's awesome.
I would watch you work, and you were just a normal girl at work, right? You were just like normal coffee girl who was doing coffee work.
Yes.
And because I was trying to square that with what I'd seen you do on stage.
Right? Isn't that weird?
And, I had access to see you where I could see Jason Finn, but I couldn't go to where Kim Thale worked and stare at him and try and figure out what,
Wondered,
and that was the great thing about Seattle at the time, right? You could find Mark Arm at parties.
Yeah.
And see him and be like, oh, I'm trying to square what you are right now, like nodding off at this house party versus what I saw you do on stage. It's weird. But like I could see, because I was going to the UW. It's not like I went to Parnassus. Like I
like
took a bus in
off
from
the
Everett.
street.
Like it was there or go
well, that's
to the
creepy,
go
John.
to the Ave, right? But yeah, I was trying to, again, like I was studying. I didn't have a band. I didn't even own a guitar.
Yeah.
But I was studying how you could do both things, how you could be, how you could have so much power on stage and then just walk around. And
Right.
I mean, the first time I talked to Jason Finn, he was waiting for a bus. He was waiting for the number 43 bus.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him and I was like, "You're the drummer of Love Battery." And he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. You got his voice good. Yeah.
I said, "Well, you're really great. Like, you're kind of the best thing about Love Battery, because Love Battery is not very good, but you are good." And he was like, whatever, leave me alone, kid. And I was like, "You're 1 year older than me. I'm not a kid." He was like, whatever.
That's so him. You do a really good one.
Really trying to connect with musicians.
Yeah.
Right? The first time I talked to Ken Stringfellow, I mean, just immediately before he turned into a bat and went up and hung upside down in the rafters.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you just walking around,
Well, we just podcasted with him yesterday.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And
How did it go? Where is
it was
he in
great.
Seattle?
No, he's in with Tool. Is that right?
No. Well,
Or
he's
was he
touring
not?
with John. John and him are doing an acoustic tour, so
Oh, I
they were
knew
in
that.
Montana, and they're coming through. I'm going to sing backups with them in Tacoma
Right.
on a couple songs. And I knew who he was because Posey's all kind of around the same time. But then, like Mike Squires, when I was dating him, he lived with Ken.
That's right.
And so I remember talking. Ken was like, "Hey, we should do a record together." But I mean, at that age too, it's sort of like, yeah, there's too much weird stuff going on around you. You seem kind of controlling. I don't like that. Like, I don't think I'm going to get into that. Like we had friends that were all kind of too mishmashed together, and I don't like that. And I was like, but I had a great conversation with him yesterday, again, about songwriting. And there were so many things he said where I was like, me too. Like, just the way we think about the 20s and the unconscious, like, synchronicity and trying to re-tap into that, or writing. And I love that you're funny. I would think that he super over intellectualizes like his music, but he's like, no, I really don't. Like, it's important to keep doing.
Have you listened to his first solo album? It's called the Soft Machine. Soft.
I may have.
Something. What's it called?
There was a couple songs. If it's the one I'm thinking of, that one in particular, I should look it up too, that I adore. I was like, whoa, that's amazing.
He made his first record after the Posey stopped recording. The Long Winters, actually, he recruited us as his backing band.
Really?
And we did a whole national tour, 2 big legs of a national tour, playing Soft Commands
Yes.
in 2004.
Yes.
We learned that record, and all of his songs are in alternate tunings. So a lot of the time he'll just tune the guitar to something.
Yeah.
And then the open chord or whatever it is will inspire songwriting.
Interesting.
Because his guitar is suddenly a different instrument in his hand.
Yeah.
But it makes it very difficult to be his band. Because he's like, oh, well, this next song is in this C- tuning that only exists in my imagination. And you're like, trying to get your guitar. And then, of course, you don't know what you're playing, right? None of the... unless you're really musically gifted and can transpose all these new notes. I was just making chord shapes that he taught me.
Okay,
with no idea what I was...
Interesting, really?
How I could have duplicated. And almost 100%, if you had a guitar in normal tuning, you could have just played those chords.
Yeah.
Normally. But because he had written it in this other tuning, he played it that way.
I didn't realize you guys had gone on tour with him as well.
And he co-produced the second Long Winters record.
Right.
Did he?
So we worked together pretty intimately.
Did you like that?
So Ken, as a producer, was in some ways the best experience I ever had in a studio.
Nice.
Because Ken always, and this isn't, he is a controlling guy. He feels like he controls social situations in a way that's like, where you say like, I don't know if I want to be in this bar with you, right? But in a recording situation, no one ever said yes with as much enthusiasm as
Yeah.
Ken said about every idea. So
Yeah.
you're like, well, what if we put a melodic on this? He's like, yes, let's get it and let's do it.
Yes, I love that.
And then if it didn't work, he was also kind of the first one to be like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's working. Why don't we try something else?
Yeah.
So working with him, like you were always moving, no one ever pissed on your idea.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you follow a bad idea long enough, everybody realizes it. You're just like, well, I guess this didn't pan out. But he never got down.
Yeah.
He never made it feel like we had lost momentum. He always was going. And so I loved working with him. And in fact, it kind of broke my heart that afterwards I was like, well, shit, Ken, you and I, like, let's just,
Yes.
we
right?
just made a great record. Let's just keep making records. And he was like, yes, well, I have other projects in mind
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
am going to move there now.
Dude,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh, don't leave me. Come on.
Which album was that? That was-
Soft Commands was his record, and the record he worked on of ours was Putting the Days, or no, I'm sorry, When I Pretend to Fall.
Okay.
So
Nice.
sort of the record
Wow.
that put us on the map.
Yeah.
And Chris Walla also worked on that
Yeah.
album, the two of them together. Never at the same time. They traded off.
Interesting. Well, I told him, he lives in France now, and as I'm looking at sort of having a conversation with myself about, okay, what do you like about music? Like at this time, I'm like, I just want adventures. Like I don't want to get in a van and start touring all over the place. But I was like,
love.
all right. But I want adventures. And I was like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm like, Ken, I'm coming to France. I speak French fluently. I'm like, I'm going to go, let's record an EP. Maybe I'll go play some shows and go meet my family and go home. Like, that sounds great. Like, that
happy
could be
to help, too.
a week and a half. Like, I could do that. And that's what I want. I just need,
Yeah.
I have fantasies. Like, I want to play with Martha Wainwright in Montreal. Like, this is a fantasy of mine. Like,
I like it.
I want to do that. I want to play interesting shows. I want to collaborate with people. I would love to do something with you.
Yeah.
And this will be like one-offs. Like, let's see what happens. Make it, play it, boom, done.
Do it too.
Yeah. And then just don't worry about what it is, because it's about the communing. Again, collaborating, communing. Like, and I don't have preconceptions. I'm like, well, we're both smart. We're talented. Something's got to happen. Like, I'm not really worried about it. But, because if I'm not in it, I get really distanced from it. Especially being a parent and working, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, like, but once I'm in the studio, I'm like, oh God, I forgot I love this. Or I just really enjoy it. And so talking to him was really interesting just to hear like his process of writing and not overthinking things, and his like, not his need, but just his way of just keep doing things and don't overthink it.
Oh, it's a need. I
Yeah.
mean, Ken has played music
Yeah.
in 300 countries or something.
Right.
Like, he is driven. He does want to get in the van. He's driven to
Yeah.
tour, driven to keep moving and play. He posted some pictures of him doing shows in like Azerbaijan and Georgia and Armenia and stuff. And it's like, you know what those are like, right? You've rolled into enough towns where nobody's ever heard of you.
Yeah.
And you go into the pub somewhere and there's an audience of like 5 people who are friends of the dude that brought you, and then 10 people who are there drinking.
Yeah.
And then 15 more people are like, an American? And all of a sudden it's an audience, and Ken plays a show for them that is with the same amount of energy that he would play for the sold out showbox.
Yeah.
But I'm not driven that way.
I'm not either.
I do not want to go. That whatever that is, like, not worth all the trouble.
I think I realized a long time ago when I started doing, after enough time and into solo stuff, I knew, I didn't want to admit it, but I knew I'm not the girl who's going to be on the road alone in a hotel. It's too lonely for me.
Super lifer.
It'll crush my soul. I also had kind of this, it felt like as a woman, I was like, it's either one or the other. You can't have family and a child and do music, which I don't know. That's such a hard conversation for me, because like I know how I am as a mother. Like I would feel guilty, but I'm like deeply attached to my kid, so it's hard for me to just leave him somewhere, to a fault, I think.
People say when I was gonna have my kid, I had a lot of conversations with people in the music business who were like, oh, well, I guess your touring days are over.
Oh, Shelby Earle's about to have a baby, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're done."
Too bad. And I was like, "Why do you say that?" And they were like, "Well, you can't do it with a kid." And I'm like, "How do you know?"
Right.
I mean, people do it with a kid, and they're like, "Well, no." I mean, there was so much just like negging energy that, and I really felt like I had to fight just to keep. It's not like I did go on tour during that period because I didn't want to.
Right.
But I had to fight people that was wrong.
Yeah,
right.
You just point out like David Bowie has kids.
Yeah, right. You have kids, and here's the thing: if you lose something important to you in your life, and feel like the kid is the reason, the kid's always going to know that, and the kid is going to feel that pain, that you resent them for them depriving you of something you love. What I found out is when you have a kid, all of a sudden that Tuesday night show at the Crocodile just isn't important to you anymore, right? No. It's not like I'm being kept away from that. It's like, whoa,
thank you.
I can't believe I ever wanted to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your kid is just so much more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But as time's gone on, right, I've gone back to traveling quite a bit. I travel a lot.
Do you?
For my job. All right. Because, and podcasting has opened up a whole new world for my music.
Oh, nice.
Because people in show business, the one thing no one can do is play music, right? Everybody thinks they're a comedian.
Right.
Everybody can be a podcaster.
Yeah.
But not everybody can get up and sing a song.
Yeah.
And so, like, I just got back from Sketchfest, which is a big comedy podcasting festival in San Francisco.
Nice.
It goes for a whole month.
Yeah.
I've gone every year for the last 8 years. I do my podcasts, but then I get invited to be on everybody else's show.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like I was headed down there, I got an email from Busy Phillips, and she was like, "You want to be on my show?"
Yeah.
I couldn't because I was on someone else's show at the same time.
Right.
And then, so each night I would do my podcast, and then I would go guest on 3 other shows, which basically are you just sit down, do an interview, hang out, goof around, and then they're like, well, "Why don't you play us a song?" And it's kind of a joke now. Do a couple songs. Like I have I have other musician friends who are like, "Oh, are you doing a couple songs?" Yeah, I'm doing a couple songs. Because other people really, that's like the content that they can't get elsewhere.
Right, right.
And most of these people don't know my music. It doesn't matter.
Interesting.
Right? If you're on, like I did a show with the guys from Kids in a Hall.
Oh, nice.
Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
They were like, "Will you come on our show and do a couple of songs?" I was like, "Yeah." You guys have never heard of the Long Winters. And they were like, "Oh, we hear you're great.
We just hear you're great."
And it was just like, it was a total like, do a couple songs.
Well, like my daughter was excited because she's fans of the McElroy brothers. So she's like, "Oh, John Roderick."
Yeah, my song is the theme song of their podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Because they were like, when that podcast started, they wrote me, this is years ago, and they were like, "Hey, we're 3 brothers from West Virginia starting a podcast where we give relationship advice. Can we use we're big fans of the Long Winters. Can we use your song as our theme song?" And I was like, "Sure, kid, whatever.
Sure.
Don't bother me. Go ahead." Well, now their show's got like a million downloads an episode.
Oh, that's so cool.
They're big stars. They sold out 2 nights at the Paramount.
Oh, I love that.
And
they just got to deal with Marvel to write a comic book series.
Right. And they use my song as their theme.
That's awesome.
And they give me a shout out every single episode. They're like, "We'd like to thank John Roderick of the Long Winters for his use of his song Departure." It's like part of their fan community.
Yeah.
I love that. How did you find out about Sketchfest? And can anybody go?
Well, you get invited, right? I mean, it's like a Comic-Con or something. You get but what happened was I had a podcast, and enough people liked it.
Yeah.
That they reached out and were like, "Hey, will you do your podcast live at our festival?" And I was like, "I don't know how to do that, but sure."
Yeah.
And how you do it is you show up and there's a little stage and an audience, and you sit there with your microphones.
Yeah.
And you do your podcast, and people are like, "Yay!"
I want to do that.
And so it was popular, and then the next year they did it again. But the thing is that I have that entree.
Yeah.
Which is people have heard of my band. Whether they knew it or liked it.
Yeah.
They've heard of it. So once I was there, everybody else is like casting about, like, how am I going to fill out my show?
Right.
and the organizers were like, well, the guy from the Long Winters is here. And so it just immediately, like even that first year,
Yeah.
I just did 5 shows right away.
That's so awesome.
And they were all weird comedy interview shows. And
I love that.
Like I did a show this year, which is every person on the show just wrote the first chapter of a terrible book. It's called Worst First Chapter, and you get up and you just read the first chapter of this really bad book that you just wrote.
Yeah.
And I wrote it was, the theme was fantasy science fiction.
Yeah.
So I just wrote the first chapter of The Hobbit. If it was being written by a guy from a collection agency that was following them.
Oh, I love that.
Gandalf's staff was going to get repossessed and he needed to like catch him.
The Repo Man and the Hobbit together.
Repo Man and the Hobbit, that's
God,
right.
I love that.
I'd watch that movie.
And so so I was just having the best time writing it, and then I got up and everybody else did really brilliant first chapters too.
Sure.
So this is the kind of thing,
Yeah.
that once you get over into weird podcast land,
Yes.
but as a musician, a pre-existing creative person,
Yeah.
then there are all these places you can populate with your imagination because you're an unknown quantity.
Right.
Comedians, they all know.
Right.
And they can judge.
Yeah.
But musicians
I get that.
are like this, they're like this mysterious magic.
I wonder if any of them know Hammerbox or Goodness or anything like that.
Absolutely. I mean,
Because I would love to do that. That's just kind of the thing with podcasting is that I love, like, especially around comedians. Like, I have a total fascination around comedians. I would never do comedy, but I love the work ethic. I love the tribalism, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like, I love being around it.
special rules, special language.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And an experience of failure that is incomparable.
Right.
Like, I could never survive that. I was like, people are like, "You ever thought of acting?" I'm like, "Oh God, no, I could never. That's scary to me.
Because
Terrifying."
when you start to bomb on stage, you always have the guitar right there.
Yes.
Where you're like,
Right.
oh, you didn't like that joke? Well, and it just shuts them all back.
For real.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of fun at these? Do you love it?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And, as you were talking about coming back into music and thinking about how to reconnect with it, right about the time that Goodness and the Western State Hurricanes were happening, right? We were both 30, more or less,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
right around 30. Mm-hmm. And that whole generation of Seattle musicians that I came up with, starting in 92 and going to 98, 99, we were all turning 30. And that list of bands that made up the Seattle scene at the time,
Right.
We could all just sit and name all those bands.
Yeah.
None of them continued. There was like this line in the sand.
Not funny.
At the year 2000,
Yes.
where all of a sudden, it's like pre-Death Cab Modest Mouse, post-Death Cab Modest Mouse. And all these bands, they stopped. And the reason is that a lot of musicians had it in their head that if they hadn't, quote unquote, made it by 30, that they were going to quit music and get serious. Because when you're 28, nothing seems like a bigger deal than being 30.
Right.
Now, when you're 50 and you're like 30,
You had 2
30.
more decades.
Dude, I wouldn't even date a 30-year-old if you gave me $400. Just so fucking young, stupid, and boring. But at 28,
Yes.
you're like, fuck, I'm 30.
Yeah.
Well, so many people quit. They got to 30 and they were like, well, we never made it out of the sit and spin. And so I'm going to go get a job at Amazon or Microsoft. Mm-hmm. Well, when I was about 40, I started hearing from a lot of those people who were like, well, I've been working at this software job for 10 years, and
Right.
I realized that music is actually all I ever wanted to do.
Right.
And now I've like got a house and money and stuff, but music is missing from my life, and I don't.
Yeah.
And I want to get back into it. And they'd show up with their Telecasters and be like, so how do I get a show at the High Dive?
Right.
And they were asking me because I was still active.
Yeah.
Right. I still had a band and was like playing live shows. And I was like, you get a show at the High Dive the same way everybody else does. Like,
Right.
just make a demo and try and get some people out to your show. And they had a really hard time because they had
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah.
And you can't just start where you left off.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody now remembers,
Yeah.
remembers Carmine or whatever.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot in that moment. And this is 10 years ago.
Sure.
Hearing from all these people who had artificially closed the door on music because they thought it was a youthful, frivolous hobby thing that either you made it or if you didn't, then you needed to get serious. It's in the same family of like, well, you can't do this now that you're a mom.
Right.
Right? You have to get serious at a certain point.
You only have so much time.
And there's serious and music isn't that.
Right.
But the fact is fucking music is the most serious.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't if it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's hard work. That's what people I think who don't do it don't understand.
Oh,
like, you're outside of it.
Think about the amount of time you put into your bands. Like pre-kid, that's a part-time job, just practice.
Yeah.
And then it's the shows every weekend. I mean, there were at least a few decades where like I never got to go to anybody's barbecue. Like I was playing a show every weekend or I was gone. Right. My family's doing something. Oh, not there, just on the road doing something constantly. And the immersion I loved. I mean, that I liked what I did, but there were some things that I felt like I was missing. But at 38, I totally did the freak out about, I didn't have a band. I didn't have a relationship. I really hit this wall of like, I'm not married, don't have a kid. I don't even have a boyfriend. I'm not doing music. Oh my God.
Right.
And so went and got a job at Nordstrom, which is like I'm not a Nordy girl. But I wanted structure because I hadn't had any. I wanted I want to be a part of something that's like, if I do this, I get this, I get that.
Right. I want to own a car.
I bought a house, I got a car, I went into massive debt, house went upside down. I mean, like in the span of 2 years, I think I had all that, got married, had a kid, and I remember waking up one day going, I used to be a rock star, and now I'm getting yelled at by some skinny girl in a pencil skirt. I feel like the fat girl in high school. I'm a mom, and I'm cleaning up after a grown man. Like, what the hell happened?
Right.
Like,
it was 5 years ago that I was like commanding an audience of people.
But then you get kind of addicted to money security.
Yep.
But also the like, I can go get things. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm smart enough to go get job, whatever. Like, I got hired by Target.com. We moved. And it took me a long time and up until recently to go, because I used to feel this just depressive schism in me. Like, well, I'm doing well over here and that's nice, but I feel extremely lonely. I have forgotten my authentic self. I used to feel powerful. And now I just feel kind of depressed and I don't, like me or whatever.
Disconnected, yeah.
Yeah, and like overweight and all this just stuff. And it's in the last like year and a half where when I got the job at the Gates Foundation, which is big, but I went into that, and this is accumulation of learning, fully going, you're going to be 100% authentic, whatever that means. We need to go be us, whatever that means. And I went into that interview definitely like, yep, I don't know how to do some things. Like I enjoyed the conversation. I have no fear because I'm like, you either like me or you don't. I can't do this. Like, let me make you like me. And
the job's not about consumerism like the other ones.
Oh God, those are
stuff. It's helping people.
And workplaces have cultures, and they can be all friendly and even say, we want to hire you to shake it up. But I'm like, I don't think I'll be changing this culture. I'm pretty sure I'll be consumed by it and demolished.
Right.
And this is the first year where I've been in my mind, like radically myself, where it's like and trying to discover the moments when I'm not like, no, I laugh loud. I say weird things. My hair's purple and I'm willing to get fired and I know I don't believe I want to work that way. Right. And just, like any way to get like, I need to be me, and a big part of that also is music. I've really tried to be like, yes, I play music. When I was at work, I used to be like, oh yeah, I would shy away from talking about it. But now I'd be like, yes, that's who I am. Because everywhere I go, there's somebody, especially in the Northwest where I'm working, where weird things, I'll get into an elevator and someone's like, and I'm like, okay. And nothing is said, They're still like, why are you looking at me that way? Like, do you know me? Because I can sound like a real asshole. Do you know me from a band?
When we worked together, it was a similar sort of thing. I was like, oh my God, that's Carrie.
Yeah, like weird. Yeah. Where I'd be like, all
I come up
right.
to you and I'm like, I know who you are.
Exactly. I was at the Gates Foundation. I go down to IT service and there's something wrong with my phone. And I was like, he's like, what's your name? And I was like, Carrie. And he's like, last name? I go, Ockery. And he goes, Ockery? Like Carrie Ockery from blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm trying to be all like, yes.
Yes.
I am that gal.
Fix my phone.
That's me. Or doing things like, this sounds small, but for me, they're big, like singing songs for my family, like my husband's family, like saying, oh, I'll play you a song. Because that's like probably one of the most vulnerable spots for me. Like I never played music for my family.
Yeah.
Those two worlds were very different. And sadly enough, like I wish I had talked more about it so that I didn't feel so alone in it. Because when shit hit the fan and that loneliness was deep.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my mom one year where I did somewhere at 30th, or I hit a wall of depression, like unlike I'd ever. I'm a really sunshiny person, but I literally was like, whoa, what's happening? Like, I mean, drinking. I never sought alcohol ever on tour, even in the worst breakups. It never even crossed my mind to go to a bar. But for something happened, cumulative, I think, where I hit a wall of loneliness and despair that was unlike anything I've ever felt. And I remember my mom calling and going, well, why don't you call someone? And I was like, I don't know who I would call, who knows what I've been through or my experience. Who would that, even in my own community of musicians, I was like, who might that be?
Right.
Because I never talked to anybody. I don't think people talk to each other like, hey, I'm having a really hard time. How's it for you? You know, like, so that's a big thing for me. That's just part of the conversations. Like, I want to talk to people. Like, how are you?
Well,
I feel weird.
It's key. And we didn't know how to talk about it before. And part of the hard part of around here, at least, is that it was not okay to talk about having ambition.
Right.
It was not okay to be ambitious. So to suffer the pain of having ambitions thwarted you were already 2 layers into some taboos.
Yeah.
You couldn't talk about being depressed about unfulfilled ambition because you shouldn't have had ambition in the first place.
Right.
And so there were a lot of mines in the ground around here that we weren't conscious of having to navigate, but it inhibited us. It inhibited our ability to come together and talk honestly with each other.
Yeah.
There were some people that were just open about what they wanted. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times it was like the guys in Man Ray or whatever who were like, we're going to be the biggest rock stars that are Sweetwater. Like we're going to be huge.
Yeah.
But that was not what you could do normally, right? You could not, you guys, it's not like Goodness was ever like, we're going to be the biggest band in the world. Right. There was like self-effacement was a big part of our thing. So that's isolating for there to be that many rules around how you're allowed to express yourself. I was the band leader and was very controlling and very because I was trying to manage and master all those expectations.
Sure, yeah.
Not just other people's, but my own. Everything.
Right.
So, I mean, there were people around me that I could have asked for help, but it was the last thing I would have done.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Like, why would I show my vulnerability to that person? They'd try and eat my face.
Right.
Well, they wouldn't. They would have been happy.
Exactly.
To help,
Exactly.
So it took a long. I mean, now I'm able to talk about then and now in terms of depression and anxiety and sadness and fear. I'm the same as you. Like, when I'm standing on the side of the stage, 2 minutes before I take the stage, I'm like, please let this venue burn down. Please let a tidal wave come. Please let there be, an earthquake. But then as soon as I step on stage, I'm like, I'm in it. Let's go. Big time rock show.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. It's happened a million times. I don't know how I walk across that threshold.
Yeah.
But I step into the light and I'm alive. But immediately beforehand, I'm like, this is the worst idea I ever had. Why did I agree to do this show?
Totally.
Where did I even meet these people? Like,
Oh my God, I'm so glad to hear you say
I want
that.
to be in the bathtub right now so bad. And then, then you hear those drumsticks like, and you're like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love the feeling of power and empowerment on stage. Like I love expressing myself. And once I get on there too, I feel good. I feel like, all right, I got this,
Yeah.
But do you ever, I struggle with when you're booking shows, it's months out, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you book it and months out and the day comes and you're like, oh God, that's like the last thing I want to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I definitely, when I started working corporate, and I was really depressed. It was a combination of too much sugar, alcohol, no sleep, whatever. I started to get panic attacks. Yeah. Like my very first panic attacks. I remember the very first one I had, it was terrifying. And then they got chronic, like I couldn't control them.
Oh dear.
And so I had to get on citalopram just to control them. And I'm such a driver that I wouldn't be like, hey, you got a crazy job, you're really depressed. Like, maybe we shake it up. Maybe we don't have a house. Maybe we sell that shit. Like, calm down. Like, you don't need this. Like, maybe it's hard for me to say, not to fail, but to be like, oh, you've reached a limit. Like, this is too much. I'm like, too much? Like, I've been going since, go. And in music, you do. I mean, you would, like, especially touring, like, it is grind it out. There is no stopping. And like, so I had gotten in this mode of just like endure, calling it working hard. It really started to mess me up. But with shows, I would have and feel terrible. Like I don't even want to say it out loud, but I'm like the queen of like, I got cancer, I can't play. Like, right. And not that I love that, but I would struggle with that. Like, oh God, why? I don't want to play. Why? I do the same thing, right? Why? Why would I play? Why am I here?
Ever say yes to this?
Who cares?
And when you're right, they asked you 6 months ago, and you're like, "Oh, that could be fun."
Totally.
Mm-hmm. And then you're there, and you're like, "I don't like these people. I don't know. There's no money in the world to pay me."
Yeah, I feel lonely. I want to go home. I'm homesick. Like, why do people do this? Like, and I'd love to get rid of that a little bit.
I don't understand it. There are people that I think just can't wait to get on stage. You don't get the feeling that David Lee Roth is like, oh, why did I say yes to this?
Yeah.
He's just like,
seems to thrive.
Yeah.
But a lot of us have that that dread. I don't know what to do to get rid of it.
I don't either. I try and
it makes the job harder.
It makes me sad. Yeah. It makes me sad because I'm like, you love doing this. I don't want to feel this. Like, I try to keep it simple. I'm just like, you're just playing songs, stop making this bigger than it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Blah, blah, blah.
I guess how do you feel after the word when you go into
I feel great. Always.
So that's the thing I try to remember that.
I do.
Like, the last time
Here's
I said
what I'll
no
do.
and I did it, it was great.
I will say, I will do this. Anything to get me over the hump, I'll be like, if you do this, you can have a pizza. Or you can watch movies, or you get to go home and that will literally calm me down.
Yeah.
It's not even like you got this beautiful show ahead of you, communing with people. And I'm like, oh no, the only thing sustaining me is like, you get to snuggle in bed. You get something. And I'm like, awesome. Can't wait. It's not sad.
Effective reward system. Hey, you got to do stuff like that.
I know.
I don't think it's sad. I think that's, if it works, more of it.
It is working. Whatever. I won't judge myself. I'll get judgy on myself.
Yeah.
But, well, this has been lovely.
Yeah. This
I want to do this again.
Well, we should. The thing is that what I really think is amazing is that after everything you've described, you're really doing this podcast.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people right now who are like, I should do a podcast. But not many of them have showed up here at my house on a Saturday afternoon and been like, here we are, let's do our podcast. And that's exciting, right? And that's a reinvestment in being alive and chasing something, right?
Well, it's taken me a long time to get to this year. And I'm ready this year to say it's in the doing. So you can talk about this all day. I mean, it's been a year. We were laughing we do a podcast a year, and I was like, that's got to change.
Yeah.
When are we going to get going and living? And it took me a long time after my mom died to be able I always had great ideas, but I just wasn't able to do it, or anxiety, all sorts of stuff. But this year I feel so much better. I feel ready. And I think I have a better understanding that, well, it's not going to get done unless you get it done.
Right.
So regardless of your mood, go do it. Shut up.
Go do
it. Lovingly to myself.
Right.
Well, one of the coolest things about this media for me is that when we were making music in the early days, right, all you had was your voice in your songs. It was the only way you could communicate with people. Nobody, or like stand up on stage and be like, stop moshing for 2 seconds while I have this smart thought. And so those times when you would get an interview in the Rocket or something, and you had a chance where they would quote you 4 times, to like get something out of you, like something that you needed to say. But now with these venues, you can really express everything all the stuff.
Well, and people are psyched to hear it. Like to get to hear whomever you like musically, even talk and hear about their lives. People want to commune the same way.
They do.
And before we finish though, it's been on my mind, but I was like you're multifaceted too. Cause remember when you and Sean were doing just like the banter shows, I don't know what the hell they were, but I remember when KEXP did something in the green room. And I think I said to you that I'm like, it was, I loved it so much. And there's so rarely like art things that I love. And I was like, oh my God, I would pay money to just watch you and Sean Nelson talk, because it really was pleasurable. Like, I was like, I loved that. Oh my God, I need more of that. So I just say, like, you're good at that as well. I just loved it.
He is so smart. And for 7 years, I've been saying, let's do a podcast, or just you do a podcast.
Yes.
And I think he always felt like, well, no, what would, nobody cares, or what would I say? And, all those things about that people are inhibited. I still think he would be one of the great podcasters.
Oh, I 110% agree.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll grab you and him and do a podcast.
There you go.
Well, we love sitting on stage because when he hired me to be in Harvey Danger, he said, because I was not a very good keyboard player. In fact, I was a terrible keyboard player. But he was like, I'm not hiring you to play keyboards in the band. You're playing keyboards in the band to justify you being on tour with us, because I feel so alone on tour.
Yes.
And I have money now. So I'm just going to you're going to be in the band.
Yeah.
Just to like hang.
Yeah.
And what it ended up being was that he would take me to all his radio interviews. The band would go back to the hotel, and he and I would go to the radio stations, and the morning time DJs would be like, so Sean Nelson, big rock star, what do you say? Hey, #1 countdown, and he would just turn to me, and the two of us would start talking. And the DJs would be like, okay, well, so let me see if I can get a word in edgewise. And we'd just be making each other laugh and just having a good time.
Yeah.
And so he brought me on tour just as like a banter partner.
Yeah.
So when we went out on tour as the Long Winters, I realized that I had the power to say like, well, tonight's concert is going to be 3 hours long, and an hour and a half of it is going to be me and Sean just talking to each other.
Awesome.
And if you don't like it, we don't care.
Yes.
And people were like, well, I paid money to, and I'm like, I don't care what you paid money for. What you thought you did. It didn't say, the ticket only has 2 words on it, Long Winters. But there's a paragraph under that says you're going to just chill and enjoy the show, like lean back.
Did people like it? Because I would think that's a bonus.
People loved it. It's just that every once in a while, somebody goes into a show with a lot of expectations of what they think the show is.
Yeah.
And what we were saying was like, a show, what's in the show is in the show.
Yeah.
We're gonna play 12 songs, don't worry.
Yeah.
But we're also gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about.
It's your art night.
I think that's the part that makes it unique to go to a show, is that you get that storytelling aspect of it, this piece of like you're getting a better connection. It's not just the music, it's this whole experience, and it's kind of cool.
And other bands, like if you go to see Unwound, they don't even look at the audience.
Right,
They just look at the back wall. And it's like, that's cool too, right?
Yeah.
I remember I went to see Unwound, and they walked out on stage, and the singer lit a cigarette and stood there, packed crocodile, stood there and smoked an entire cigarette, just like staring out at the audience.
Yeah.
Like an entire 6-minute cigarette, and the audience was rapt.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was the most hostile thing I'd ever seen.
Yes.
But the
I love that
casualness,
kind of, yeah.
the casualness was just like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna smoke this cigarette now.
Yeah.
And the band was just sort of standing there waiting. And I was like, that is the most powerful rock star move I ever saw.
Yeah.
And then when he was done with the cigarette, he was like, all right,
All right.
play the songs now.
Well,
I was like, fuck.
people don't realize that's you live in that world like every day if you're touring. So it's not like your special Friday night party. They're like, no, it's just a Tuesday for me. Like,
Right.
you know.
I need this cigarette right now. And
God damn. You
I
know,
didn't get it. They want us to go on, so
and I need to do something interesting because now I'm kind of bored. Like, I think I'm just going to smoke a cigarette at you because I fucking want to.
right. Just scare.
A memorable moment for you and everybody else.
Oh, I'm still
Oh, yeah?
15 years later. I'm still thinking about that cigarette. Like, wow.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to get grounded.
Yeah. Oh fuck, that was 20 years ago. I was
Isn't
just
that
like
nuts?
15 years ago. No, it was 20 years.
I'm forever 25 in my head. I feel
The
like.
90s were still very recent in my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
That wasn't that long ago.
I like to tell my husband's 12 years younger than me. And so I was like, I always love to calculate. I go, when you were 10, I was.
already on stage.
I was
at
in
the
a van.
And can't do
He
that.
doesn't love that. And I was like, when you were, because when I met him, he didn't know anything about me. He knew none of my history, which was invaluable.
Yeah, right.
I kind of needed that.
'Cause,
Yeah.
but little by little, he discovers all these things. Like,
Yeah, but by then he liked me for me, and I needed that. I needed someone to like me, because the rest is just things I do. You know, like whatever. Well, thank you, John.
hey, thank you guys for coming
thank
over
you.
and having me on your show.
I love it. I love it. I really enjoyed it.
I'll be a guest later on when you need me. Whenever you
Okay,
need me,
yes.
call me up. I'll be your fill-in
I might bug
guest.
you for music.
Oh, I'll send
Easy
you music
peasy.
anytime to collaborate with.
I want that.
I've got it in spades.
Okay.
All right.
Check. John Roderick.